In October 2015, John O'Brennan, director of CIA, received a call that pissed him off. Some kids had hacked him.
Hello?
John O'Brennan?
Yes. Who are you? How did you get this number?
This is the 3D documentary of Kane Gamble, known as Cracka, the teenager who hacked too many high-profile officials of CIA.
The Secret Service, along with the FBI, are looking into reports that someone hacked into the personal emails.
The hacking group Anonymous.
This was Brennan's personal email account.
Kane Gamble.
The notorious hacking group Anonymous.
This is a criminal investigation, and they are working to track the suspect or suspects down.
Kane Gamble, a 15-year-old from England, was not your typical hacker. He spent his days smoking weed and hanging out in his bedroom, but beneath his laid-back demeanor, he was deeply politically motivated. He believed the US government was corrupt, especially after the leaks by Edward Snowden on mass surveillance programs, drone strikes, and secret weapon dealings in war-torn regions. To him, their involvement in the Middle East, particularly in Palestine, was unacceptable.
That what Hamas did was horrific, and there's no justification for it.
Fueled by anger and a desire to expose security flaws within the intelligence community, Cracka founded Crackas with Attitude, a hacking collective with a simple goal: humiliate and expose the most powerful intelligence officials in the US.
But why did he do it?
Well, Dominic, this was political. We heard he was really angry about US foreign policy, those wars in the Middle East. So he started a collective called Crackers with Attitudes, and then he hacked into phones, into emails, into confidential websites.
His first major hack was into James Clapper's personal account, the Director of National Intelligence. Using social engineering, he tricked Clapper's phone provider into giving him access to his account, and from there, he redirected Clapper's calls to the Free Palestine Movement hotline, making a bold statement. This act caught the attention of the media, but it was his hack into CIA Director John Brennan's personal AOL email that really shook the intelligence community. Cracka found John Brennan's phone number online and identified that he used Verizon as his service provider. Then he called Verizon, posing as a technician on site with a problem, and when asked for an employee code, he made one up, and it worked. Then Cracka asked for Brennan's account number, PIN, and AOL email address. With this information in hand, Cracka called AOL, pretending to be Brennan himself, and used the information to reset his password. Within minutes, he had full access to the emails. Inside, he found classified military intelligence, a list of US intelligence officials, and Brennan's SF-86 form, a top-secret security clearance document that reveals criminal history, medical records, past drug use, and other confidential information that is more than enough to expose him.
You were able to hack the private email account of the CIA director. How did you do that?
Well, we have most of his personal information, like his name, address, phone number, social security number, and other things. And when we social engineered, we manipulated AOL to do the password reset on the account.
At this point, Cracka caught the attention of another hacker, Default, a veteran in underground hacking circles who saw Cracka's attack on Brennan and was impressed.
Service, along with the FBI, are looking into reports that someone hacked into the personal emails of CIA Director John Brennan.
In a podcast from Darknet Diaries, Default said,
I gave him a head nod. Dude, that was a sick hack. Respect. Started talking to him. I was like, that was awesome. You really exposed this guy.
He reached out, and the two began talking. Default started giving Cracka pointers on how to escalate the attacks, and pushed him to think bigger.
Hit up WikiLeaks, and it was Julian at the time running the account. And he was very interested in it, obviously, as he always is. And it happened very fast. Just handed it over, and he published it all.
It was Default who suggested reaching out to Julian Assange, and soon, WikiLeaks published the leaked files. But the hacks didn't stop there. After targeting James Clapper and John Brennan, they also gained access to Jed Johnson, Homeland Security Secretary, Amy Hess, FBI Executive Assistant Director, and Jen Psaki, White House spokesperson. At one point, Cracka called John Brennan directly and read his own social security number back to him. Brennan was shaken. Intelligence officials had to go into hiding due to uncertainty about the scale of the threat. Cracka and CWA became too confident. They targeted too many high-profile officials easily, drawing massive attention.
How difficult would you say it is?
You mean out of 10?
Sure, out of 10.
1.
1.
Finally, the FBI launched an international manhunt, and British police tracked Cracka's online activity. Default had a growing suspicion that CWA had been infiltrated, and one member's behavior seemed off.
He had somehow eluded capture when he was involved with other groups that mysteriously went down after he had joined them. Also, there's a lot of psychological flags, like red flags, just like trying really hard to befriend us. You know, it was kind of like weird, kind of obvious. And then when I actually like publicly called him out, he became a completely different person. And that was just another confirmation.
But by then, it was too late. The feds were closing in. In 2016, armed police raided Cracka's house. He was arrested and extradited to the US for trial. On the other side, police also arrested Default, and the game was over. At just 18 years old, Kane Gamble was sentenced to 2 years in a youth detention center. His actions led to $1.5 million in damages and forced relocations of intelligence officials. Though Cracka and CWA were caught, their message was clear: no one is untouchable.